Welcome to the 13th chapter of the series, where we will be doing something with regards to things that I forgot in the previous chapter. Some after season look at what has happened, and probably the drafts that are about to come. Note that I saved that has happened very soon after the end of the season. I think it was the next day. Andrew Wenger and Vincent Nogueira have been chosen in the MLS Best 11. This is a assume that a number of players developed very well. It has not the full text, but this is a reminder of something that I forgot to say the last chapter, and that is that you remember that I said that for most of the season there had not been any improvement in regards of training. Nobody seemed to excel in training and was especially good, and there was very little increase of attributes, with only the team training and no individual focuses. And 2 or 3 chapters ago, when things were still during the season, I think during the regular season, I said I had changed the intensity from high to very high. After that change, the next 4 months of that training, they were for the first time, players that were impressed. 3 players impressing in training, and they had quite a few arrows pointing upwards, not very steep, not very much high, but they were increasing in more attributes than before. So I will be keeping that for the start of the next season, and also almost immediately after the end of the season. The domestic transfer window and loan transfer window have begun. Regarding statistics, I will be pointing a few items. Nogueira, as you could have seen, shown in the last chapter, has the best average rating, followed by Katic and Sapong, which is expected from their assists and goals scored. Aerial attempts are led logically by the main center back, the one that is strongest in the air, followed by the 2 men that used to play as target men, then another center back. Apam is perhaps too low, and as well as Williams for my taste, but Wenger is around the middle, which is logical considering he plays in the wing. But Wenger has the best aerial challenges won rating, which is pretty expected because he has been played in the wings, having good jumping reach, and the players that tend to play in that against him in that position are usually not strong in the air, so it's logical that he will become by far the player who gets the most win in the aerial challenges. Another point is that normally I like interceptions being led by center backs, which in this case is happening. First is Vitoria, second is Williams, third is Obama, my usual starting 3 center backs. But I like that be coupled with the midfielders and fullbacks being the leaders in the tackles made or attempted. And you see the top is a center back, second is defensive midfielder, center back. Normally I would like that to be led by midfielder, fullback, midfielder, and then the center backs. But in this formation where there are no fullbacks and only one of the midfielders is actually defensive, it's logical that the center backs are not as well protected in shape of tackles being made by midfielders and fullbacks. So to see the two central midfielders there is a surprise that I like quite very much, and having the center backs around there is not something that I dislike that much because it comes with the formation. So we can go on to see that there was players that have been in the team have been Ivan Bus, which only one match is not really too much to say, but his attributes are not good. He's just average at best. John Niskens has not gone very well, but there was nothing else to be found with the salary cap remind that we had, and will be used in trades for other players. Fred has been not very good, has played little because of his poor match fitness, and he's got injures too easily, so he probably will also be traded away or perhaps allowed to stay as backup. Apam has been largely disappointing, and we are losing an international spot, so he will be also traded away. Mahamadou Diarra has been good when he's been, even if his average rating is just 6.8, but that's mostly because he's got so many injuries so soon that he has not really had a chance to sign. He might be retained as backup or traded away. Andre Blake is better goalkeeper than Fred, but he is going to be in the Jamaica national team and called away, and probably he will be away when Mboli is away, so he will be traded. And instead of having Andre Blake and Ivan Bass, I will try to bring a decent goalkeeper that is not being kept by any nation. Ray Gaddis has not played much, or it feels like I haven't used him much, mostly from the bench. And he's a player that may or may not remain. Initially I think I intend to keep him as a backup. White has got decent average rating, and I don't see the other center back that I didn't quite trust too much. What I want for the next season are a good second goalkeeper that's not going to be in international duties, one decent winger for either side in place of Niskens, perhaps one or two center backs, and a substitute for Fred and perhaps Diarra, and have in total two more central midfielders. That was the place where we were sorted, and with the injuries we had serious trouble, and those might have costed us the final. So today is the draft, December waiver draft, and we will be going knowing that I want any midfielder two central, one for the sides. It would not be bad as the center back and a goalkeeper who won't be drafted by by countries. So I can say next pick or skip to my next pick. I will test this one, and a few have been chosen. Only two have been chosen so far. So now it is my turn. So I will be going through the players off camera. So after going through the list, there are no goalkeepers. The only center back that is worth something is Austin Berry, which is the center back I didn't find in the squad before because his contract was finishing this season, and I did not renew his contract, and which he is clearly the better center back available in this draft. I am not going to pick him in this first choice unless there's nobody else. But there is a couple of other players that have some interest for me. This would be a more or less all-rounded player, but he's not too very good. And I forgot what it was. I think it was Weber, not Mulholland. The other that is Daigo Kobayashi, who would be a good creative midfielder, not very good defensively, but it will not be for a position where I would be asking that. Just marginally better than Fred physically, but not as poor as of yet. The point against this one is that he would be on an international contract that which is limited, and I think I don't have. The negative point is taking back Austin Berry is he's on a 1,600 euros per week contract, which is not very little, but that is not bad. I think this was the defensive central midfielder I was mentioning before, Victor Ulloa, and I think I will draft him the first. So I will draft him, who is in the minimum salary. Now skip to the next, and I have two. There I only have one more place for the draft. So I will check what is the contract of status of Fred. Per rights, Philadelphia contract. It expires next year, and it seems he is not. Indeed, he's not international. So I have. Is wrong, minimum of 7 internationals. I think it should be maximum of 7 internationals. I have 5 internationals, one of which is Stephen Vittoria, who will be out after his loan finishes. And another who's Diarra that I will try to trade away to another team. So that means this last selection is between Austin Berry, who is not bad, but I barely used him low because of his low determination mainly, and agility and balance. And I think I will gamble it on Daigo Kobayashi. So I will draft him before Daigo Kobayashi's 2,100 euros per week. And that is the December waiver draft. So I have this message just the day after the draft that says Philadelphia to name expansion draft protected players list. Philadelphia have been asked to protect 11 players ahead of the expansion draft in order to prevent them from being eligible for selection. Please note that the maximum of 2 players can be selected from those players left unprotected. Any player not selected by an expansion team will return to Philadelphia at the conclusion of the draft. Generation Adidas players who are not set to graduate at the end of the current season will be automatically protected and do not count towards the list of players required to be protected or not. The same applies to all homegrown players. Unregistered player Daigo Kobayashi. I haven't registered him, so I will see what happens with the registration. So squad registration, and I can't choose him, but they are protected because of some reason or another, homegrown or whatever reason, or not being unregistered. So I can't register them now, therefore respond. And it seems they picked automatically. So I will unprotect Ivan Bass because he's not that great of a goalkeeper, and why I can't? Ivan Bass is unprotected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because there are too many protected, so I have to do that. And let's see who I protect. Ryzen Volley. I don't know exactly what this expansion draft is. Perhaps for the 2 teams that are going to be introduced in the MLS, maybe they can pick teams from any other team that is already already in the league that is not unprotected. So the other next I can't choose Steven Vitoria because he's not my player. Maurice Edu must be protected. Nogueira must be protected. Sapong must be protected. Andrew Wenger must be protected. Maidana must be protected because they are key. Katic is unprotected. Here I have received a trade request from Houston for Zenan Katic, and I'm not yet sure if I will accept it. It is for a supplemental draft pick and the rights for another and an international slot to be able to have one international player more in the squad for the next season, which is tempting. But Zenan Katic was so good last year that I am not too sure about that. I maybe accept that So let's see. Apan was largely disappointing, so he wanted to be protected. Sinon Williams was generally good, but in the end he had a poor run of form. Niskens was complaining, but he's one of the few wing players that I had. So he's another choice. Brian Carroll was used very much and is defensive. I will protect him. Mahamadou Diarra was so injury prone that even if he's a player that I rate quite high, I'm not so sure about protecting him. Nigel Cooker is not as bad physically, so I will protect him. He's a lot of usage. I don't know why Victor Ulloa is protected, because I have not registered him either. The same position as Daigo Kobayashi. Fred got so little playing time that I am not going to protect him. I have two spaces, so think this would be to be between Conor Cassie Ethan White, John Niskens. I think it will be Conor Cassie and Serena Williams. Minimum of 8 internationals. I have to pick 8 internationals. I don't have 5 internationals. Maybe if I saw international the reserve squad. So I create selection and auto select. So it seems I can't pick the 11th because I lack an international. So the international is indeed a minimum, not a maximum. Curious thing that. So I will check Apam needs to be protected because he's one of the few internationals that I have. So, and the same with Diarra. This is annoying. I will protect Sinon Williams and protect Conor Cassie and confirm selection. So let's see. Houston proposed trade with Philadelphia. They are offering Houston's first round pick in the 2016 MLS supplemental draft and one international player slot until 31/12 of 2016 in return. We have set a deadline of Monday 15 December 2014 in Philadelphia for Philadelphia's decision. You know what? I think I will check on what is Senan's contract. He's not in the minimal wage, but it is not high, and on top of that he's a motor professional, although he's not expected to improve in the future. Fairly inconsistent. He's been very good for most of the season, although in the end he went into a goal drought. So but the international slots for 2 years can be helpful for getting better price. I think I will take it. If not, someone will take him in the expansion draft for sure, so I won't be the one losing that for nothing. Like, comment and subscribe if you feel like that, and don't if you don't feel like that. Thanks for watching, goodbye.